A very good evening to all our listeners. Welcome to Dream Center TV. This is your host, Prophetess Trish, and is I want to really apologize for late coming technicalities here and there, trying to just get everything in place. But the program you've all been waiting for has finally arrived. So please call your friends and your loved ones and let them share the link. Get of Glory YouTube. We are live. So we just want to just and make sure you are commenting as we are having this conversation because it is a conversation you don't want to miss. Now on Saturday we had an exciting program where we brought all the aspiring mirrors together, but we did them injustice. So we just gave them maybe 5 to 10 minutes and they didn't really express themselves. So we thought, okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to bring a program where they can fully express themselves. So Mondays and Thursdays, aside Wednesdays and Fridays, that where we have these other programs, you can tune in every Monday and Thursday where we are having the aspiring mayors where we do the interviews and get to know more about our future leaders and why they are standing. And this evening, I'm relatively excited to have our guest in the house, an aspiring candidate for mayoral. And this is no other than Wilson Kango. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Prophetess Trish. It's wonderful to meet again,
Yes.
to talk to you.
Yes.
It's enjoying the vibrance.
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
I know, right? Yeah. We're just here. I mean, I'm so excited to have you here. You're our first actually speaker as the aspiring mayor. And we want to get into this. Please, everybody, wherever you are, make sure you subscribe to YouTube, Get of Glory. Just share that link quickly and make all the people who are watching just go there and start listening and commenting, because if time do allow us, we're going to make sure that we answer any of the questions that you have right here live with you. Praise the Lord. Amen. I'm so used to preaching, so please bear with me. So I want to welcome you here again. A courtesy to Dream Center, Dr. Justin Likuka, who is availed the studio. And we are here just to serve our Zambians, just to be out there and just make sure that we are doing what Daddy has assigned us to do for a season such as this. And I'm so excited to have you here, Honorable.
Thank you very much. And I should be grateful actually to Pastor Justin Likuka.
Yeah.
And much more grateful to Dream TV Center.
Yeah.
Because we're living under difficult times.
Oh, yeah.
You know, reaching out to people has become almost impossible.
Mm-hmm.
The world has actually separated us. Now, when you've got people who have actually adapted and have advanced alongside technology to reach out to the masses, you know, you should really be grateful, and glory to the Lord.
Awesome. Ndola is watching, Zambia is watching, Europe is watching. So we can't even say good evening right now because it's probably morning elsewhere, but we are connected almost to the whole world, and they are here and they want to know more about this aspiring mayor by the name of Wilson Kango. So we're going to do a bit of questions so that people just get to know who Wilson Kango is. And so maybe a brief background on who Wilson Kango is, how old you are, marital status, grandchildren, children, you know, just a little bit of a background. Do you stay in Lusaka? Are you in, you know, just those little highlights. I'm just on a lighter note, but you know, and some people see you on posters, but they don't really know. So I'm thinking this is gonna be a very good place for you to throw yourself out there and let people know who you really are.
Thank you. Grandchildren, no.
Okay.
Well, but I should want to believe I'm a father to many.
Okay.
Going by the programs that I run.
Okay.
And well, as you see me passing around town, don't be surprised when children come rushing, daddy, daddy, because I have encompassed everyone, and these 3 children are also my children, but they are not at the age yet where they have their own children for me to be called grandpa.
Okay, I love that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, in no time we'll get there sometime soon. Wilson Kango, 40 years by age.
Awesome.
Yes, is a resident of Ndola and has been for over 2 decades.
Oh, wow.
I know the ins and outs of Ndola because I have been involved with the community. I love the city. It's a city that I admired from the time I was a child, and it was a city which was so very much spoken of, admired by many, even on the outskirts. So, yeah, married, I'm in a very committed relationship.
Committed. I love the word committed.
Yes.
Okay.
A very committed, actually.
Committed relationship. Not the ones they put on Facebook, open relationship.
No,
And he's in a committed relationship.
Yeah, I am in a committed relationship with a very mature woman, and not a man, by the way. A relationship can go both ways. Yeah, so at the end of the day, it's I take it that my relationship is not a secret, but it's private.
Okay.
For those who are close to me, they know my woman, they love her.
Okay.
I just want to. I'm private in some sense. I'm so private in some sense that we have gone to open our lives to the entire world.
Okay.
We talk to strangers. We tell them everything and anything.
Okay.
I keep a very small circle of friends, people who are close to me, and I appreciate that.
Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, let's see if we can because we have 40 minutes, and I want to make sure I exhaust all my questions. I don't want to leave anything outstanding there. You are standing, honorable, as a mayor, and in Ndola, I think you are about 7 competitors, if my records serve me right.
Okay, yeah.
And then the question comes, why are you standing as a mayor?
I'm a self-driven person, very motivated, and sometimes when I motivate myself and I see something lagging behind, I want to drag it along to pace up with my vision. We have lost a city that everyone once admired.
Okay.
There's nothing to look at, and there's nothing that can excite you about saying I come from Ndola. So it is with that vision that we need to restore the city and bring it back to its past glory. The vision that I have, then develop from there, past economically, but also socially, past infrastructure, and again, I'll repeat, socially.
Okay.
Because the social aspect of a human being is very fundamental, and it will drive a lot of things forward. So we have attained world over, we are attaining where infrastructure development is, but the human factor is remaining behind. So how can we encompass the human factor? And that is the vision that I have.
Awesome.
But it's very much unfortunate that for a place like Ndola, we are not even boasting of infrastructure development. Later on, how can we talk about social development? In any place? For me to be here, this has been accomplished because of the social factor. We have all this instrumentation put together, which is infrastructure, but the social factor, somebody had to take interest. And that is where we need to ride alongside to get to where we want to be.
Awesome. Now, I hear you talk about returning the lost glory. That literally means 20 years of being in Ndola. You once saw what Ndola was, and you've seen what it has become, and you're saying it's got to return. So what are some of the things that you can really look at that you say we have lost as a city? And as you are coming in as a mayor, those are some of the things that you would obviously, if you're talking about restore, you're talking about rebuilding those things. Maybe let's quickly have just a quick highlight. I
Yeah,
know
sure.
it will fix in your, you will
Yeah,
explain it more in your vision.
yeah,
But I think what caught my eye was the restoring of the lost glory. That literally means we once had a glory as a city,
yeah.
but we don't have it. So what are some of the things that we have lost as the city of Ndola?
If you look at our city, uh, first of all, there's nothing to point at. I wish we had even greener parts to point at, but even the city itself is full of dust. It's brown. It's, if not brown, it's actually dark.
Okay.
Just to highlight a few, but the most major factor is that Ndola once used to be the economic hub of the Copper Belt, not only the Copper Belt, but Zambia.
Mm,
It used to trend in those areas.
yeah.
You know, Ndola used to be industrious.
Mm-hmm.
If I can draw you back 2004, we went through a very difficult situation as a city,
Yeah.
which were which now we have gone back to after attaining a little bit of development, which we saw coming in by the then past president, the late Mwanawasa. He really tried. You know, they brought in all technicalities by making the city a tax-free zone, which attracted a few investors coming in.
Mm-hmm.
But privatization, which was mishandled, a good concept, but mismanaged and mishandled, left us at a bare space where we lost all our industries, which were thriving, giving jobs to our young people. Youths were busy, which is not the case anymore. So it is with that anger that when I see, you know, youths who are just languishing,
Mm-hmm.
that I come in and say something can be done. And, you know, it's quite practical that things can be done.
Mm-hmm.
But when mediocrity becomes a norm, you
Mm-hmm.
know, it becomes a standard to many people.
Mm-hmm.
Even as you talk about it, they're
Mm-hmm.
more like, why are you overpromising?
Yeah.
I'm very much self-driven.
Okay.
I'm an entrepreneur, and
Okay.
I'm actually very proud to announce to say I sit on the body which is so very much important, which is the Ndola Chamber of Commerce. And if you sit and you hear the views of the people who sit there, you'll be actually be astounded to what knowledge they encompass and how they want to drive the city. But they're actually lacking the cooperation of the governing bodies, which is the government, to foster that development to come through.
Okay. I'm not cutting you short,
Yeah,
Honorable, but the issue of if people get skeptical on the issue of overpromising, um, I, I think we've heard a lot of people tell us some stories, some of them even with PhDs, for
yeah,
good crying out loud. You know, I mean, any person would get tired at one point or the other. You know, it's like you see a beautiful woman like me, and mine is telling me he loves me, and I'm not seeing a ring on my finger. I'm like, "Duh, prove it."
yeah,
You
sure.
know what I mean?
Yeah,
So, in a practical sense, you are saying people, we've become skeptical, and to be honest, I'm on the side of people. We have every reason to be skeptical. We've heard it before, but when it comes to the practicality, this is where we are failing. How different are you from all these people who've given us their words to say, "Hey, when we come, we'll
yeah,
do
sure.
this." You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, sure. No, listen. I'm not surprised that you share the view of many. I
Yeah.
share the same view as them. That's why, in the first place, I chose to stand independent
Awesome.
because I believe the systems have failed us.
Awesome.
I'm coming in at a time when the world is lacking courage and conviction.
Okay.
To be seen human, you have to be associated by a certain body or a certain political party. that is not the case, as in for me. You understand? So the biggest trouble that we have is that people don't even know what is entitled to them anymore because mediocrity has become the norm. To show the practicality of that, I'll tell you that if you look through the Auditor General's report 2019, it will tell you that we have got a council that misapplied funds close to 2 million, which they ended up investing in automobiles for their directors. Okay? That money was meant for capital projects. Now, tell me, if that capital project was implemented, it could have meant maybe building of a station, restructuring of markets, infrastructure development, lighting the city. Would you imagine how many youths would have been employed? Not to sound so economical, but if you understand, the multiplication effect of money comes in when money changes hands here and there. When I give you 1,000, you are going to share with another person who's also going to start selling tomatoes and everything. Thereafter, the GDP of our economy is growing. And that GDP would have been coming from Ndola, but it is the selfishness of our brothers and sisters who are currently managing us, who are so selfish that they could pick such kind of a huge amount of money to invest only in a few people. It's quite unheard of. So what I'm coming in as Wilson Kango is with my management skills, my entrepreneurship skills to calculate areas of priority. You understand? Such that certain amounts of money go to where the need is supposed to be, not where one will be selfish and start riding a very expensive vehicle, which they never worked for.
Awesome. Maybe just to make people understand this clearly,
Yeah.
The mayor and the council, what is the relationship? I mean, there are many things you could have picked on,
Yeah.
but you picked the council. Is there a relationship between the mayor and the council? What's the role of the mayor and how does the council relate to the mayor? This is just, I mean, I know that, but for the people listening out there, we want that dialogue for people to understand, to say, so when Honorable comes in, he'll be directly responsible for such and such and thing and that kind of,
yeah. To begin with, maybe let me fall back and tell you that what constitutes of a council.
Okay.
The council is a body with elected councillors. As in, for example, Madam Trish, if you've got a group of people that reside in a certain place, they choose a leader who they are going to second to say, you're going to represent us. And another place chooses another leader. You put them together. You form a council. Councils have been formed in time of memorial. Even in the times of the Bible, there were councils. So the head of a council in that aspect is a mayor. Okay. He governs and overlooks the political business of the council. So all those councillors that you are going to second are going to be under my jurisdiction. But it's pretty much unfortunate that, and just to correct you, it's so very much very much unfortunate that the council has actually been overridden by political party policies when the council actually has its own governing rules upon which one can manage it. But we have brought politics back to the council, which is very much unfortunate because a council is an agency of government which is there and instituted for service delivery.
And do they report to the mayor?
They report to the mayor.
So a mayor is literally someone who's overseeing the welfare of the city.
Yes.
And you rely on the council and the people orchestrating the systems on how things are done to the people.
Yeah.
Or am I missing it?
No, you haven't. We're just using different ways, but we're on the same plot. So as politicians sit, they start looking at what certain people of maybe let's say Hillcrest, you've got your ward councillor here, they are looking at what you people are proposing to do. They bring it there. Then the council also has technocrats who are overlooked by the town clerk. Okay, so whatever policies that the politicians are going to make, they'll be passed on to the technocrats. Then the technocrats are going to now supervise and see that the works have been implemented. It is a duty of a mayor as well now to start looking at, under our discussion, this is what we discussed, and you technocrats are supposed to do this. Then we are also supposed, as a mayor, budget implementation and area of allocation as well is another area of prime importance. So this is why you need a very level-headed person, sober-minded, to make sure that all such areas are properly implemented and as agreed and properly supervised, such that the services that we are talking about can now reach each and every corner of the city.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we can get to the beef and the main reason. What are your plans for Ndola? Having, dissected that and explained some of your concerns, why you have stood as an independent that disaffiliates you from the governance of the day and other ruling parties. Does that mean that you don't agree with other wasn't it easier to affiliate with a party rather than just be an independent person?
Yeah, I'll tell you something.
Okay.
A brief history is that the council, the mayor, was chosen within amongst councillors previously. So the constitution was actually changed so that a mayor can be chosen by the public. The reason why they changed the constitution was with a simple reason, to say the councillors still had a hand in controlling the mayor.
Okay.
So he didn't execute his duties properly. But it has proven now and experimented upon that the party that seconds a mayor, or when a mayor wins on a certain party, they still have a riding power over that mayor.
Okay.
Hence, we have seen cadres now being a part of the system of management of the council, and like the bodies that are supposed to be managing the council properly. Hence, I am of a conviction that a mayor should be away from party affiliations. And besides the mayor being away from party affiliations, it has literally shown that the policies of which our friends have governed us have literally taken us aback.
Okay.
We are 20, 30 years and we have got a huge back row in which to go forward. Yeah. Yes. So that being said, Trish, hence I come in very much independent, saying I want to align with myself with the people, knowing that the council, we have got the Local Government Act, which is very much elaborate. It's not a political party that governs the council. It's actually the Local Government Act, which is very much well prepared, and people sat down to look on how the council should do their service delivery. So at the end of the day, I stand very much capable to govern the council, and I'm very much confident come August 12, we are taking the day and Ndola will be in safer hands again.
Okay. So when you do go through,
Sure.
and Ndola is in safe hands, as the Honorable says, I clearly puts it. What are your plans for the city of Ndola? People are listening out there and they want to know, okay, so this is, if we were to vote for Wilson, what should we expect? Because you've mentioned where you would want, where what we've lost, where we are now. You also seem to know where you'd like to drive us.
Yeah,
so
sure.
This is where your plans for the city of Ndola comes in.
Look, First of all, I have got a very simple manifesto. Right?
Okay.
That manifesto was actually derived from the Local Government Act. And when you hear about a manifesto, it's nothing which is complicated. A manifesto is just areas of priority which will foster that development. We have got a city that has totally gone down, and in this city, we have got a lot of land. Why can't we diversify our economy in dollar? Why are we overlooking agriculture? Yeah? We have totally overlooked agriculture. We have got a city that has gone dark. Why haven't we installed our street lights? I have been campaigning all over Ndola. I have been to all corners, the markets, and everything. Economically, I'll tell you, we have created a situation where now we have got vendors on the street. Those vendors are not there by accident. They have been created, and now they're being used as a tool of campaigning. The vendors are on the street, first of all, if I were to tell you, they're on the street because where they are coming from, the markets are no longer the markets that can sustain a trading place. Sanitation is very poor. Okay? There are no toilets, there's no water. Later on, there's no electricity. The infrastructure under which the marketeers are operating from is very pathetic. There's no electricity. The roads that are actually leading to the markets themselves are dilapidated. So why would a resident of Ndola jump into their car to go buy tomato for 10 kwacha and risk the shocks which will cost them more than 4,000? So we need to bring back our infrastructure, first of all, put it in proper shape. Then later on, we have, look, it's so dismaying actually, because when we talk about economically, we're thinking about how do we industrialize in dollar, because it was once an industrial city. How do we attract back our investors to invest in dollar? We had a trade expo, which was actually initiated by the government. But who knows the city very well? It is the mayor and the council. So why can't the council itself initiate programs upon which they know the areas of priority under which they are going to attract the investors? I will be the mayor that won't only sit in dollar, but also engage with investors, because at the end of the day, I am a businessman who has associated himself with higher bodies of business, like the Ndola Chamber of Commerce. We do receive various people who come as investors there. So why shall I not sell my city to be an area of priority? Later on, that again will bring in development.
Awesome. I'm going to try and zero in the local government act where you're talking about areas of priority, and you've kind of given us a bit on some of the highlights that you have talked about. You've talked about the issue of agriculture. You've talked about the issue of economy. You've talked about the issue of land, street vendors, sanitation, electricity, and poor infrastructure. And we want to get more practical.
Yeah, sure.
How are we going to do that? Because it is one thing to say, I want a clean house. It is another thing to get a broom and actually sweep it. So you're talking about a local government act being very simple and having areas of priority, which somehow you feel have been neglected and need to be picked on. And so I looked at some of the things that you were talking about when you talk about the land, the economy, the agriculture, the lighting system, street vendors. But can we attach now the practicality of that so that people hear to say, okay, baba kamba for batulaile ni fee for batulaile, and you know the reason we're
Yeah, sure.
doing this is
Yeah, sure.
basically just
Madam Trish, it's
yes, sir.
like the example that I gave you. The council receives a fund which is called an equalization fund, you know, and that fund, when it comes in, it's there for service delivery. And this is the fund that I'll tell you, like the example that I gave you, that was misapplied, where people ended up now buying their vehicles. So what we need in the council, first of all, is a very good manager, making sure that the resources of the council are used prudently.
Awesome.
Besides the equalization fund, there are other revenues which are collected in the city. We
Okay.
can talk about land rates, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Levies from the markets,
Mm-hmm.
bus levies. Where do all those monies go?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
understand? That's why we need prudent use of the resources of the council. Make sure that when that money comes, it's properly budgeted for and it is collected by the right people, not a situation where we have seen cadres who are placed into markets and bus stations collecting that money. Where are the duties of the council? And by the way, I'll tell you, under my administration, the organs of the council will operate independently and they will be audited at the end of the day with the projections that we make,
Okay.
areas of achievement and areas of failure.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody found wanting and non-performing will be under my administration. Such kind of a person will be prosecuted according to the laws that are governed, that govern the council, the bylaws and laws which are there. So look, we are in a situation where the council actually generates a lot of revenue.
Right.
And at the end of the day, that revenue, we can even expand other areas of revenue collection. We are talking about garbage collection. Okay. What are we doing with our garbage? We see every time people drinking bottles of water, which are literally just thrown on the street. Do you know that those bottles can actually be recycled and turned back into other things? And later on, if not turned into other things, they can also be turned back to the very bottles that we can resupply to the very utilities that they are meant for. So we need to attract investors in the garbage sector who are going to look into recycling, and thereafter, you know, that garbage is not supposed just to be trashed, but it should be another source of revenue. You understand? So we need to have a leader who's innovative and looking beyond such kind of things. Madam Trish will tell you that I am capable to lead.
Awesome.
Yes. So that tells you that we are actually looking to a practical end of looking at things, and these things are attainable. Look at our city, Madam Trish. It is quite disheartening that we have got a council that has been suspended not only once but on 3 occasions.
Yeah.
Why has our council been suspended? It is due to the corruption, which has a which has become a permanent feature of our city.
Wow.
Huh? Those are elements that hate me the most and say we can do better as a council.
Awesome.
You understand?
Yes, sir.
And the primary reason why our council has been suspended on those occasions is because they have misallocated, misappropriated the major resource that we have, which is land. I am not going to come here and talk about percentages when we're distributing the resources of our city. I am going to talk about equal distribution of land. If you qualify and you deserve it, we are going to give you land. So long you can prove that you qualify, you're a Zambian. And if you're not a Zambian, you are coming in as an investor. And that under the Investment Act and policy, you qualify for that land. You are entitled to it.
Okay.
Because without the investors, we cannot talk about development. But beyond the investors, don't you think we also have local investors?
Okay. I'm just going to pick a quick highlight, which I
Sure.
know has been a very burden because you touched it yourself, which is
Sure.
the issue of land.
Mm.
I don't know where this whole system has been messed up when it comes to land. I mean, I have had people have fought title deeds over the same land they bought the same land, and I'm like, seriously? I mean, and I'm doing this because these are directly linked to the office that you will be operating in. It's so infuriating, because you find that the same plot has been given by two people. It's been given. How do you intend to work on that, really, when it comes to the issue of land? Because it's not just the issue of investors getting the best land and other people not. This issue of where this person has a title, did you also have a title? Did you also? Who does that?
To begin with, under the vision of Kango, that I have, and it's quite disappointing that we have got an organ of government that has actually haven't been faithful to the people that they sell land to. In the first place, Madam Trish, we are not only going to give land, but we are going to give planned settlements.
Okay.
And when I say planned settlements, we are talking about, first of all, utilities being in place where you are actually giving the land. And land is going to be made competitive. People are going to apply. And when you apply, you qualify. When you qualify for that land, let it be given to you and get your title.
Okay, just right there on the application. I'm going to be bringing you back because this is something that I really just experienced and people experience and they bring them to me and I'm throwing them to you. Like people just apply there for formality. Like have you applied? Oh, yes. And then you go, you find people are lined up to the end. But they've already selected the people who are getting the land. And by the time that person got land. How did they get the land? We all like 100 people would line up and they'll apply. And the sad part is sometimes they would even ask you to pay a certain amount of fee. And then you pay that amount of fee for that land. They've already selected who they want to get.
Yeah.
So, I mean, for me, I'm sitting there and I'm like, cancel.
Madam Trish, the trouble that we have had.
Get arrested right now.
the trouble that we have had is that we have had a leadership which is not honest with you. The organs of the council are there. The planning department is there. The legal department is there. But when you let the politicians run these things, you are defeating the purpose of the council. The legal department and the planning department work hand in hand. Look at all the legalities of who has applied for land. Then later on, look at who deserves the land. Let it be a fair competition. Let there be publication of who has applied and who has gotten it. And we still have a lot of land left in Ndola. We are only concentrating margins of land whereby we are talking about Chichere, we are talking, have you gone? Ndola is extending far beyond. And you know what? Go beyond 21 Mufurila Road. That is still part of Ndola. Towards Wansha is part of Ndola. Towards Kawe is part of Ndola. But even as we are planning our city under the city planning unit, let's change the way we are planning our city.
Awesome.
We have to think about what has happened. If we're talking about economic diversification, why are we only concentrating on residential plots? When are we going to talk about farming? When are you going to get that small holding because your interest is in small holding? Why are we just giving out land for? And, under a planned settlement, Madam Trish, we are also talking about schools have to be infused. Hospitals have to be infused. Look at what has happened to Mitengo. The whole block of Mitengo, it's only the people who bought land who started now segregating to say, okay, I'll buy off that person and I'll buy off that person and I'm going to put a shopping mall here. It's unheard of. Let's go back to what it used to be back in the days. The premise of a development then was a post office. Once you create a post office in a certain area, then a settlement starts mushrooming around that.
And
So
other structures
and
follow
other
in. So
structures
when you're actually thinking of building a city, there must be certain things that
in
must be
place.
considered.
Yes,
A
a
post office, a
hospital,
hospital, a clinic,
eh,
a police office, and all that stuff.
plan settlement.
Plan settlement.
Very much important.
Mm,
And when we're talking about plan settlement, we are not only talking about those things, we are also talking about utilities. When you are applying for land, under the charges that you get when you qualify for that land are actually utilities, you know. And when we are talking about utilities, you know, I'm laughing because water is supposed to be there, electricity is supposed to be there, road infrastructure is supposed to be there.
wow.
But right now, it is a question of you now, the resident. After paying for that, you start making your own road. You start, you start digging a borehole. You
Yeah.
start putting up a soccer way.
Mm,
So we have got an organ of the government that has actually been stealing from its own people because you pay for something that you actually don't get.
mm.
So why are they charging people for something that they are not providing?
Wow.
So
Eye opener right there.
my God, you know, it actually dismays me when I see it and I look at all these things which are happening and nobody is questioning.
Mm,
You get my point?
I hear you.
Those are things that are motivating me to become mayor of the city.
Awesome. Awesome. Utilities, you're paying and you're not getting. I
And
just love that.
before I run away, you
Yes,
know,
sir.
before we move away from that point,
Yes.
you know, we have got bodies like Zima which have started coming in talking about boreholes under the 21st century. Let us not contaminate our underground water. Our underground water has been contaminated because, Madam Trish and the viewers, bear with me. How can you have a chimbu swapper next to it? You are digging a borehole,
Mm,
you are contaminating underground water. We have got bodies like Kafubu water, you know, which haven't been expanded from 1964.
awesome.
Hence, now you are encouraging people and charging them now for putting up a borehole. It is totally unheard of. 21st century,
Mm,
54 years of independence,
mm.
and then you are still digging boreholes.
Okay. This is the 20th century.
Oh my God.
Let's roll.
Huh?
Hallelujah. I'm just so excited about this. I mean, this is really exciting.
Yeah.
So those are some of the plans that you have for the city of Undola.
You know, these, I will be lying if I say these are my plans.
Mhm.
This is a vision. And this is what people deserve.
Mm,
Because under the laws which govern the land, people are entitled to that.
mm,
Our literacy levels under our town, or rather, I can generalize it to the entire country, have gone low.
mm.
You know, have totally gone low because look, go to our local library here. There are no books. Go to Lubuto Library. There are no books. So under my administration, we want to bring in all that. Let us, hence I said social development, parks
Social.
and gardens. Where are our children passing time nowadays?
Children
Nowhere. They
know.
have got no place where they play. Places which were actually meant for parks and gardens now are being converted into filling station and the
Yeah,
like.
that's
So
true.
your children, my children, where are they going to go for their pastime? Hence, we have got children who are now abusing substances. Three quarters of our youth are drunk instead of taking it to sports. You know, under social development actually offers, it has proved that under our time, one can get a livelihood out of sport. We are enjoying watching the Olympics today, and we have got our Zambian female lady who's shining there. It is all because of sport. She's making more money from there.
Mhm.
So let Ndola be the city that will actually produce those sportsmen because they have got the right administration and the right mayor who's going to look at social development and put it as a primary issue.
Awesome. Um, I would like to just ask a little bit of now, as a leader, one of the critical things we look at or is wired or aligned in a leader are issues of integrity.
Yeah, sure.
And what has been your take on integrity? How would you marry integrity with your personal life?
Um, Integrity in
Is
what
this
area?
something that we just want to talk about? I'm a
In
man of my word. I will keep my
everybody
word.
claims
I,
because I mean I
you know
can.
why I'm doing this? Because everyone,
Yeah.
and you have to be exceptional.
uh,
So
uh,
tried and tested.
yeah, sure. Even a person who's a good liar is good at keeping their word because they lie perfectly and they'll lie to you. So
Okay.
where it comes to integrity, Madam Trish, I think I've been tried and tested. If you go through my Facebook page, I actually ran an initiative which I call Support the Cause. The
Okay.
community has actually trusted me with a lot of things, materials. I normally shy away from handling any finances because the next time you see me with hair on top of my head, you'll be more like, I want pia shachpanda, hair
Mm-hmm.
implant.
Mm.
But I pride in my bald head.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
integrity, I am a man of integrity because from nothing, I have actually built myself to something to begin with.
Okay.
Somebody who's able to communicate with the people, talk to the people. From my pocket, I have taken myself to college. I have actually made myself to be a businessman. I have made my own capital through an honest mean of living. And, I started my first job. Many of the people remember that I worked in at Kansenshi in Postcom. I was selling talk time. I was managing the place. It is from the little pennies that I was being paid there that I actually made my capital. I did not steal my capital. I looked at myself and looked at the environment that I'm living in. Other people are suffering. I can boast of the 23 children that we have managed to put back into school
Awesome.
through an initiative called Support the Cause.
Mm.
I have ended up helping others. Unfortunately, a few people, may his soul rest in peace. We had a brother that I was helping through the community, Kavimba. That's my last experience.
Mm-hmm.
He died of cancer. May God continue comforting the family.
Mm.
It was too much for them to bear, and their finances were, the disease was beyond their finances
Mm.
actually.
Mm.
I came in, and I think till his last days, at least, we sent him off in a comfortable place. So integrity, my levels of integrity, I cannot boast of them, but they are practical and they're
Okay.
there to see. And
Yeah.
it is with that past experience that I have, being a prudent person, is that's what I want to take in the governing of the council,
Okay.
to make sure that let the resources of the people be used to the intended purpose. We're here to offer service to the people, and let that service be delivered. And beyond um offering a service, we are also supposed to be initiative driven to bring more revenue to the council, look into other areas in which the council can tap in and collect revenue so that we can up the service delivery. We need to work with all bodies of the government, talk about the Ministry of Health. Look, it's so shaming if you drive to the hospital right now, what you are greeted with are potholes. That alone will tell your spirit to say, I'm being sent to my deathbed before you actually reach. So when we talk about infrastructure development, it should be infrastructure that should inspire, lift your spirit, and make sure that even as we are taking you to the hospital, you know that they are going to work on me and I'm going to go back home to meet my family. Not where you go now, you even before God has called you, you start calling pastors to pray for you for forgiveness and everything. Who told you about your time? Let God determine your time, not because the infrastructure is telling you that, oh, your next door is to the mortuary. That shouldn't be the case.
Awesome. Awesome. Do you have any specific people? Of course, there are general people that you've mentioned that would obviously benefit from your plans and everything. Are there specific people that you are working with, targeting, or maybe that you are affiliated with, that you work with, that you say these people are people that I would really want to work with and see.
Madam Trish.
I know you're working for everybody, but what I mean is if we zoomed in,
Yeah.
I'll give you an example. If you zoom in me, what you will find are orphans.
Yeah, sure.
Or if you zoom in another, what you'll find are widows. If you zoom in someone, it's women, it's I just made it in that area. Is there is
First of all, when we talk about leadership, a leader is supposed to inspire and aspire.
Of course.
Your type of leadership should attract people towards you, and they should be motivated. In the end, that being said, as you inspire people, they'll also find solution within themselves.
True.
But we have got leaders who have ended up locking themselves in their offices. They're not talking to anybody. They're not impacting the vision or bringing out that in the human factor.
Okay.
So generally, we have got a budget as a council.
Okay.
Allocated. We are going to work in collaboration with the Ministry of Social Welfare, which hasn't received funding in a long time.
Okay.
And if it has received, then that funding is being mismanaged. We are going to work with organs of the government to make sure that the budgets which are meant, because a disability is not a disability is not an inability. I have seen people who are disabled cultivating rice.
I know a man who's disabled and he owns a farm and he eats the maize.
There you
That's
go.
good,
There you go. But people are not motivated.
Yeah.
They have ended quenching up and said, Ndichilema. No, that is not the leadership that I'll put across. You have to find something in each and every individual. We all have something to offer.
It's true.
Look at how you're motivating people. You are here questioning us. You're standing, you're speaking
Putting you
for
on
the
hot
people.
soup.
Yeah, sure. So at the end of the day, you say, I'm somebody who's very practical on the way that I live my life.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the days when backyard gardens were the in thing. Let's go back to practicing the old ways as we are developing. It's the human mind to develop. So in answering the question, yes, orphans, widows, they come. I have got a soft spot for them, but we are not going to overlook the general populace simply because I have got a soft spot for a certain. We are here. It's a council that has to offer services to the people, and we are going to offer services to the people. But much more likely, for the weak in our society, we are going to make sure that we take them along. We are not going to leave service delivery only alone to the strong. We are going to take everyone under our wing. And, as a leader, I shall not claim that I can achieve all this alone. It's I have got very good traits of being a team player. That's why the team that is going to be constituted around me is a team that I'm going to motivate. I cannot achieve it all alone. We have to create synergies of consultation. And hence you realize that in moving forward, we have got a business community which doesn't have a permanent seat on the board of the council. We are making decisions for the business community, but we don't know what affects them. And they're the major players who are driving our economy. So how then do we bring them on board so that we align themselves with their thinking? We have got a church which has got our moral fiber. Only we run to the church in time of need, but we lack constant engagement with them.
Okay.
So that being said, you cannot be an island into leadership.
Okay.
It's about hearing the views of others and how the community is being affected. And you need to be a practical, hands-on leader. And my method has already shown in my personal capacity to say that I'm a hands-on person. Hence, we have achieved some of the challenges that we have in the community, and Kango has been at the helm of sorting out some of those challenges, and the community has ended up trusting Kango with its resources and making sure that those who are lacking, they get something.
Awesome. In our dying minutes, you are very much aware that Zambia is a Christian nation, and have you come across? Have you read the Declaration of Zambia being a Christian nation?
We have heard, we have listened. The declaration is there.
Okay. The question I was going to ask is, how is your relationship going to be with the church? What should the church of the Ndola ministers or the clergy expect to work in hand with the mayor?
To begin with, the body of Christ is the first governance that earth has seen.
Okay.
If you look through the 10 commandments, they're very elaborate. That's why one has to respect the church at all ends.
Okay.
We are identified by our tribes. Omukoweko wafuma, niwe mwana wa nani, and I'm proud to be identified as a Christian.
Okay.
That being said, a Christian is seen by their deeds.
Okay.
And not their work. Separate the two.
Okay.
Work is perpetual. A deed is something evident that you are able to see. And as a Christian, you should be identified by your deeds. How did Patrice react to that situation? I am a Christian. I am born Catholic. I have become fond of the Pentecostals because they have transformed going forward. They're fitting into the today generation and sorting out problems, not traditionally, but culturally. Mark another difference.
Okay.
Tradition, stated. Culture is ever evolving. So how do we blend in?
Awesome.
How do we preach today? Television. That is something going. So I'm going to work hand in hand very closely to answer your question with the church, because we have always looked to the church for moral fiber. The church comes in very primarily because at the end of the day, even in times of trouble, we fall to our knees and seek the Lord's intervention. And God has set his own people who are our pastors. If I were to take you back again to the church, when Christ was leaving earth, he said, he was talking to Peter, I leave my church with you. Be the overseer. And the Peters of today are our priests. We need to accord them the respect they deserve. We need to consult with them. So the Bible is very practical. It's a book of deeds.
Amen. It's a book of deeds. I love that. Awesome. Well, in our dying minutes, Mr. Kango, you've got maybe a minute or two to convince whoever is listening to you out there. Oh, we actually have enough. We've been given more time. Our timekeeper is being generous. Praise the Lord. Okay, sir. So you can speak to the people out there and they are listening to Mr. Wilson Kango. You want to stand as a mayor. They want to know why they should vote and speak your heart out there and let the people hear you.
Well, if experience is anything to go by, it's evident out there that we settled for a raw deal, and it hasn't taken us anywhere. We have got our friends who pride in their experience, but what experience is it? Are we talking about corruption? Are we talking about theft? Are we talking evidence is there? We may be deprived of a chance in that we are inexperienced, but we are very much experienced in managing affairs of the community. And it is the community that we are coming for to make sure that all those cheap rhetorics which have been placed out there, we make correction of them. I'm here to do what they failed to do and to correct their mistakes. I am a practical person by my deeds, which are evident out there. I love the city. The city is in my heart. Hence, I have gone independent at a time when we're lacking conviction and courage, when freedom of expression is being suppressed, when some animals are more equal than others. And I say I stand equal to the people of Ndola who I want to govern and represent. They are my equivalent, not any governing body or any political party. I will work with the government of the day, the political party that will be chosen by the people, and the council has got rules, bylaws, and laws which govern it, and not a political party. Ndola once used to be thriving, an economic hub of our country. Hence, I am telling you that we need to restore the city to its past glory. And it's evident that we have run away from what we used to believe in. I come in with a fresh mind, youthful ideas, practical ideas, and a simple manifesto, not complicated, something that anybody can interpret. And with a manifesto, I'll tell you something. It is just areas of priority under which one will foster development. So we are talking about social development. Social development comes very primary to me because without social development, a human mind can never develop. It is said that too much work made John a dull boy. So we have taken away from our children, or what we have forcing them now is read, study, and if there's a pastime, they are playing video games. That's why we have created a situation that if you look at the children walking around the street, they are all looking around because they do not play. They have got no physical kind of playing. That's why diabetes is on the rise because we are not burning the sugars. The play parks of our children have been taken away. The gardens in which we need to thrive. Earth was beautiful and it was identified by the Garden of Eve. So hence we find that gardens are very much important. They are refreshing corners. Kango comes in eco. We need to thrive, revive the city. We need to get back to the industrious city that it was. And I'm a person who's going to engage the business community, which I'm a very part of. We need to engage our farmers, our marketeers to work together. We need to involve the educational sector to come into play and look at the enshrined rules upon which a school is supposed to be set up. We are living under a city which is now totally dark. Kango comes in to tell you that we are lighting up Ndola. Ulubuto, darkness shall never dwell, and it is not accepted in the kingdom of God. So we are living a very much an Christian life because we are in Ndola, and not because we have chosen, but we have been subjected. So lighting up Ndola is one of my biggest priority, and making sure that we are going to go towards planned settlement. When we're developing our city, we'll make sure that the plots which you are being given will actually have utilities in place before you can actually move in. Land which has been a thorn in the Ndola City Council is something that we are saying under my administration that a land audit shall be carried out. We are here to correct the past mistakes. All those who are seated with all those papers which you are just holding on and you have never seen your land, we are going to carry out a land audit. We've got the legal department under the council that will be put in effect. It's going to be very busy because we're here to correct the mistake, not because it belongs to a certain cadre or whoever. No. Equal distribution of land is very much important. Let the people who deserve the land be the owners of the land, and let them hold a title to that land. Marketeers, be told that your markets are going to be ultra-modern infrastructures because the monies are there. And if the monies are not there, we are going to find the money. We are going to attract investors to uplift our infrastructure. Look at our bus stations. Not even the shelters are enough to accommodate the commuters. Later on, the infrastructure in our bus stations is nothing to look at. We need to open new avenues. Look at Mitengo, look at Northrise. If you're going there, not everybody can afford to own a car. New routes will have to be opened to make it easy for our general citizenry to move. Mitengo is suffering, Misundu is suffering. We have opened up all those places for settlement, but we have deprived them of the uh, necessary transport to for people to get there. Not everybody owns a car. Not everybody can afford a taxi. So it begins from the basics before we can look at the bigger things. Let the basic necessities be in place for the people to feel that they're a part of the city that they live in. It is only under the administration of Wilson Kango will that be achieved. We are going to be collaborating, and I'll make sure that the councillors that you are going to choose are not going to come to the council chambers without direct engagement and consultation with the people where they're coming from. And that is going to be evident and be achieved by making sure that let your councillors come with the evidence that they engaged with you, with minutes and signatures. And then the policies which the council is going to make are going to be derived from the people and what the people want. Let the people govern. It is your time to realize your rights that under a democratic dispensation, it is the people who govern. And we're just here to implement your wishes. Let the people realize their powers because they are our bosses, and we are merely here to give ourselves to be of service to the people, not to be the bosses of the people. I stand with the people, and they're the people who are going to put me in that seat, and I'll execute the duties of the mayoral position properly, constitutionally, not with that which is in my head. I'm sacrificing my time to make sure that every child of Ndola gets a better living. I'll stand, I'm your voice, I'll fight for you till you realize your birthright. Thank you very much.
Well, that was our Honorable Wilson Kango giving us his manifesto on why he is standing as a mayor. That was, I felt like I was watching and I'm like, oh my God, this is so like, oh my God. I think people I
You
have heard.
belong to Ndola for once. You felt a part of
I
Ndola.
felt like this maybe this is something I really need to belong to. So we're going to just quickly go through some of the comments that we got through Facebook and some of the questions that have been coming through. So the question that we have is, if Ndola should remember you, what should they remember or know about you?
Um, I'm proud to say that I walk with pride. Not Chirumba. Chiriako nafuma kumukoa wandu wababemba chakwe bati Chirumba chakano kumfuila abantu. But I want to leave a legacy. I'm not living for today, I'm living for tomorrow. A man is identified by his name. And I want the children of my children to be called by the name of Kango because of what their forefather did. I want to uplift the livelihood of the underprivileged in our society and make sure that they become something. We are all entitled under humanity to become who we are or who we want to become, and I'm the living example. Being an orphan is not the end of the world, and it doesn't mean that you cannot do anything of significance. What I have done right now, I have just opened the curtains to leadership, to courage and conviction. After me, trust me, there will be so many youths that will say it can be done. Somebody can stand up and look at the rights of many. I want, like I said, just to inspire and aspire and get the work done. You'll be seeing too many young people now waking up. You know, it's being young is not a prerequisite, but being mature is another thing. So I want to approach, and I am approaching politics with maturity, civility, and making sure I'm a living testimony of the salt of the earth.
Awesome. Our concluding remarks. There you have it. That is Mr. Wilson Kango. That is, we have another question coming from Shalom. What is your plan for Ndola as a mayor, and how do you think those plans will develop the city of Ndola?
My plan for Ndola is to be an ultra modern city,
Ultra modern city.
a city that is going to provide for all.
Okay.
Um, it is about the prudent use of resources that we are going to achieve that. It's about making sure that the organs of the council, the organs of the council function separately. making sure that not when I mean separately, I mean without interference from politics. It's so very much unfortunate that our planners, who are very much well learned, they cannot even plan for Ndola. From 1964, what we have managed to add are just the same things and nothing. We're just, if anything, we have actually gone back. We haven't added anything to our city. It's very much unfortunate. Let the planning, if I give you an example, a simple example, you've been to South Africa.
Yes.
You look at Santon. It's a city within Joburg.
Yeah.
And that is being also achieved in Zambia.
Mm-hmm.
Not too long ago, look at that area, Kalundu, whatever. Now we have got Manda Hill. That is becoming a city on its own.
Mm-hmm.
Is Ndola cased? No, we are not cased. We can bring up that. Ndola it can be rejuvenated.
Okay.
It's only under one. It begins with a vision. It begins with a passion. Okay? This, which we are doing here, without a vision, wouldn't have been possible.
Mm-hmm.
You don't laugh at a vision.
Yeah.
Embrace a vision.
Okay.
This, if you hear it in my voice, I'm talking with so much force because I'm a visionary person. I do not back down, So I look forward to that kind of Ndola.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
We have Hasmin J. And the question is, what is your plan, especially for the roads in Mitengo, Hillcrest, and other new settlement places, including farming blocks like Kafugu block? Like, what will you do with the land matters issues currently pending?
To begin with the land issues matters which are pending, Hasmin, I addressed it. An illegality is an illegality, and the people behind those illegalities, the ultimate goal is that they have to be prosecuted. We are going to carry out a land audit under my administration. The first 3 months of my administration will look into that. The land audit is carried out to make sure that the pending land issues are actually ironed out. Look, the roads in Mitengo are pathetic, and they are pathetic because somebody didn't plan. You are charged a service fee upon which you have got a council which never brought the service. It's bad to steal from your own people.
Okay.
We are going to look into those roads with the engagement of the councillors, the MPs. We have to work as a united team, not because we are coming from a certain political party and you can't be that or do something. Then later on, Kango is one person who's also looking towards skills training. That is the kind of empowerment that I think of. When we talk about youth empowerment, we are not only talking about putting money in your pocket. We are talking about a Ndola that is going to have skills training centers. Look at me. Practically, I am a trained accountant. That is my profession. But what am I doing for money? My passion is elsewhere. I'm doing market consulting. I'm doing photography. That's how I earn my living. So at the end of the day, a skill is an ongoing thing that will give you a livelihood for long. And that is what I want for our youth. Let's identify what their burning passion are and who they want to become, and make sure that woodwork, metalwork, just putting towels. Do we have to import people from outside to come and do that? Honestly, don't we have the human factor? It should pain you as as a citizen, not only of Ndola, but our country.
Ocean. We have another question that is coming in, and it is saying, why do you think you are the best man for the job of the mayor of Ndola? How
I
about
don't
that?
I don't need to think. I'm the best.
There you have it. He is the best. Are there any other questions that we haven't handled, or they're all done?
Yeah.
Well, it has been a fruitful conversation, and I'm so excited. Thank you, Honorable. It's been such an honor to have you. Do you have any dying remarks out there? Please make sure you tune in, and I just love it when people out there are reaching out and they're asking. It's a sign that they are interested in all this. And your dying remarks before we conclude this program.
And my dying remarks are those that people of Ndola, you can trust me because I am trusted and have proven a track record that is there for everybody to see. I have got good management skills, good communication skills, and I'm intolerant to corruption. We have to wear out the corruption because it's a very bad vice that has left us to where we are here. People are dying. You are losing your loved ones because somebody decided to pocket that money which was supposed to bring a service. So ultimately, we are here not only to save, but to save Ndola and the nation at large. Ndola will be a shining example of what a city is supposed to look like and how the city is supposed to be governed and how a person from Ndola should look like, because you are going to walk with your heads high, shoulders up, not the sorry people that I look at when I walk into town. Thank you.
There you have it. That was Honorable Wilson Kango, who plans to turn Ndola into an ultra-modern city. So as you go around the 12th, make sure that you think, pray, and vote. You've heard his manifesto. He's answered his questions confidently. And sir, I want to thank you so much for availing yourself and for explaining to the people out there what your vision for Ndola is. And I'm just so humbled and honored. It's a privilege to have you here. And I hope the people listening out there will judge righteously, and they'll weigh everything that you have to say. And come the 12th, they know who they are going to vote for. Praise the Lord.
They already know.
They already know who
They know
vote.
who they're going to vote for. But
Okay.
in my very last remarks,
Yes, sir.
I should want to thank you, Dream TV, for the job well done, for according me this opportunity to interact with the people, and not only the people, but with the church. I have got my competitors watching me as well. I really thank you for paying attention. I hope you have learned one or two things. Thank you very much.
Well, that was Honorable Wilson Kango as aspiring mayor. Thank you so much for coming through. This has been the Voice of the Apostles, running a program, Think, Pray, and Vote. And we are back here again on Thursday, the same time, with another aspiring mayor. I won't tell you who. Just log in and see who's going to be speaking to us this Thursday. We'll be listening to another manifesto. Honorable has done his job, and so Thursday, lock in again and let's hear what the other aspiring mayor has to say. Thank you very much, sir.